Alright, we're gonna get straight into this. There's a lot of things that are happening and the industry is really restoring. I wouldn't call it a crash. Well, it depends on who you ask, okay? But for me, I know the industry is restoring. I'm also currently having Claire Obscured Expedition 33, and I think I got myself 7 hours into it. Well, not even halfway yet, because remember, I picked the difficulty Expedition, because there's 3 difficulty: Story, Expedition, and Expert. I picked the middle one. I know I wanted to get a challenge or anything, but sadly, I preferred to make it in the middle, aka not too hard, not too easy, in the middle. Let's check this one out.
The gaming industry is becoming sort of a joke right now, and there's no better example of this than Ubisoft itself fighting itself in a new competition of seeing what is actually at the core and source of a successful game. And I think that's what we're seeing right now with Claire Obscure developer Sandfall Interactive, which is filled with ex-Ubisoft devs that felt stifled in Ubisoft's lack of focus of producing good content, and they branched out and made their own studio, and it now has a more successful title than all the AAA titles that have come out these past few years from Ubisoft itself. And I think this is a situation where you realize a lot of the big corporations that are working on titles in the industry today simply do not have the talent, skills, or forethought to produce content that is in line with what the gamers actually want to play. And I think Claire Obscura is the best example of this, because it's just showing where the talent goes in a gigantic organization like Ubisoft. They leave the company, they exit the company, and they produce something absolutely stellar on their own. And I think this is proof perfect of what's happened to these big developers, where they bleed out talent and they bring in people that are more focused on the glory of the company rather than building its future. And I think that's what we see with a lot of the staff at Ubisoft and the failures of the titles that have come out these past few years. And that's why we have a divided France right now, because these are both French companies with French employees, and we're seeing the difference so starkly between the two companies because they have a different makeup, focus, and passion.
I mean, isn't that how it usually is the case? I don't know, I could be wrong. To my French allies and the French viewers, is it common for French studios to beef with one another? Tell me in the comments. Do we even see this coming? Why does every time when we tie it back to Sweet Baby Inc., all goes to Ubisoft? Guess what? Kim Belair works at Ubisoft. Ironic, isn't it? I have to say, I've played it, and so far, even though people say it's woke, which I haven't exactly found anything yet, so far it's good. Although I had to say, the dynamic between Gustav and Loon kind of reminds me of Daredevil and Elektra. Well, not exactly the same, depends on who you ask, but at least it's a reference. So usually if I play this game, I'm probably going to grind first and then proceed to the main story. When it comes to RPG, you have to know the level recommendations, which I don't know if there is, because sometimes you need to go beyond that, regardless of difficulty.
It's crazy to see this example play out in reality, where we can see what happens when you have passionate developers working on a project and when you have dispassionate organizational elements that are more focused on their political ends and means rather than the gamers and game players. And I think that's what we see with the differences in results with Ubisoft and its multitude of games, specifically Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Oh my. Take a look at this, folks. Make that make sense. When I start this, I want you to pause the video, look at it, and make that make sense.
With the differences in results with Ubisoft and its multitude of games, specifically Assassin's Creed Shadows. And I think that is the biggest dynamic that we're seeing right now. Assassin's Creed Shadows versus Claire Obscure. They came out in the same time frame with different complete results and a use of resources and total involvement of employees. And that's what we're comparing here. We're comparing a large AAA company that tried to produce content that is a large standing open world, kind of semi-open world game that has multiple choice options and story elements. And we're seeing a similar game with Claire Obscura from ex-Ubisoft developers creating something that was equal and maybe even better than a AAA title. And you can compare the budgets for both of these titles, where Assassin's Creed Shadows tops out at $350 million budget with over 20,000 employees working on the game. And then you have something like Claire Obscura being developed by Sandfall Interactive, based on a $5.5 million budget, creating a story that is way better, more interactive, and gameplay that is just more engaging. It just shows that you really don't need that many people to actually work on a successful game in the industry. You can just have 33 people I think it's total out at 50 with the crunch time developers from overseas that they brought in. So it's not that many people that they needed to actually produce good content and to produce a game that was highly effective in delivering its message and intent of actually bringing fun to the game players. And it kind of makes you feel like everything that we see at these AAA companies is kind of just a farcical joke where they're spending money in places that are useless and unneeded. And I think that's the thing that we see with Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed Shadows.
That is quite true. See, here's the thing. I think the problem is many of these people, they don't have a degree on, say, the film industry or the TV shows. They want to make it to Hollywood. And that's the reason why they make games look like an action-packed movie with stealth element. And this is the reason why Ono Alex hated it. He kept criticizing PlayStation, which warranted. I mean, I miss the days of PlayStation 2. That is the day where everything is possible. It is not a movie, it's a game. And not only that, credits didn't take, 2 hours long? It take less because there were less people.
We watched the ending of Assassin's Creed Shadows, and the credits can go for over 2 hours long, where they are listing over 10,000 people that worked on the game. That didn't really need that much effort, that felt incomplete and incomprehensible at times. And it brings to focus what's actually happening in the gaming industry, the corporatization, and more than anything, the hiring of useless talent that can't bring anything to the process of the gaming world. And I think we always see this corporatization in a lot of companies when they go public, but I don't think we see it in this measure where we bring in so much people that have no effect on the game, that have detrimental effects on the game, in fact, and we're producing lesser content at a slower pace. I think that's the thing that we all find frustrating as gamers when it comes to the current state of the gaming industry. I remember we used to get games that come out like every 1 or 2 years, sequels that came out so quickly. I know people are going to say it's the graphical power, but I think it's the bloat that happens to these companies as well, where you have to go through so many checks and balances to get anything done, where you can't finish a game on time. And I think that's what we're seeing with the difference between Clair Obscur and Ubisoft right now, where Ubisoft probably took double the time to create a lesser product, while Clair Obscur took less time to create something that's superior. And I think that's the thing that we keep seeing initially with a lot of the development processes happening in the gaming industry, where it's just simply more effective to have less people. And I think that's what we saw with Black Myth Wukong. We saw this with so much other titles that came out with massive success, where they had only like 40 people to create the game. It took less than 4 years to produce it. And I think that's the situation that we can't ignore anymore in the gaming industry, where we have developers that just can't match the quality of indie developers. And we see this subsequently happening so much in the gaming industry, where we see small titles like Schedule One, My Side, that pop out of nowhere, that grab the attention of gamers and are making a killing in the industry. And I think this will be probably the standard situation, especially with AI development tools coming on hand in the future, where being a AAA company is going to take more than a 20K employee count. It's going to take...
Honestly, I don't think any of these people would care if it was done by AI. Okay, for voice acting or perhaps translation, AI is warranted, okay? And this is the reason why many creators, either on anime or whatever, they're turning to AI because they don't trust the localization. And if you want to make games for other countries, using AI is probably good, because at least it can keep, well, there still need corrections, but at least 90% or maybe 85% it will do it right. Key takeaway is this, is that you make a good game. What's the aftermath after this one? Things are now shifting, which I'm going to be making my woke mythical audience on my second channel. They have doubled it from 300% cooked to 500%. I decided to double it. Basically, what's going to happen after this? Well, right now, John De La Rose is now stirring what Smash believes is Gamergate 3. Frankly, I'm not taking part of that, all this Gooner shit, that sort. Once I'm done with this woke movement, I'm moving on. I don't exactly do this, okay? Yes, you may think people who just grift all the time, but sadly, we do not. We do have other topics. I still had to cover the Kingdom Hearts topic, Resident Evil 9, because I still need information, and even better, I'm still making a challenge video. So I have to balance every topic within this channel, and also my second one. I have a lot to cover, so I don't have a lot of time. Overall, I think Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is good, although when it comes to live adaptation, that's another thing, okay? To the people at Sandfall, if you really want to make a live action, make it a TV show, okay? Don't make a movie. That's a lot of CGI. But I think TV show is much better.
I win this time!
Leave a like and subscribe if you want woke or anti-woke detected, or you just want to see me play games. Visit my second, third, and fourth channel, which is also including trending topics. All of them will be in the description down below.